Tonight on Dateline, we shall feature reports on the activities of the state governor, Senator Ademola Adeleke, in the immediate past week, as well as what Nigerians are expecting from those elected into various elective positions throughout the country in the last general elections. Also to feature in tonight's edition of Dateline is a report on the workshop organized by the Society of Nigerian Broadcasters held in Osogbo recently. It promises to be educative, informative, and entertaining. Her name is Oluchi Amuda, saying welcome to Dateline once again. First, the hard news segment. All commercial banks open for operations as part of coordinated effort to ease the circulation of banknotes of various denominations, according to a statement signed by the CBN Acting Director, Corporate Communications Department, Issa Abdul-Mumin. A substantial amount of money in various denominations had been received by commercial banks for onward circulation to their respective customers, as well as conduct physical operations in the banking house through the weekends. It also confirmed the evacuation of banknotes from its vault to commercial banks across the country to address the hardship faced by millions of Nigerians as a result of the scarcity of the naira. The Apex Bank had earlier begun the disbursement of old naira notes to the banks as part of efforts to end the currency scarcity in the country. Meanwhile, the verdict of the appeal court in Abuja in favor of Governor of Osun State, Senator Ademola Adeleke, has been described as just and can stand the test of time because law does not permit the cancellation of election due to a minimum record of incidents of overvoting or any other likely hiccups. The legal expert, Mr. Wuniyi Alabi, dropped the hint shortly after playing guest on OSBC TV current affairs program, Saturday Morning Treat.
Well, ordinarily, if somebody goes on appeal, it's either he wins or he loses. He was dissatisfied with the judgment of the trial tribunal. That's why he went on appeal. And the Court of Appeal said he actually won the election and that his election was not officiated sufficiently to enable them declare that election was a nullity. You know, it's part of our jurisprudence in law that, particularly the electoral laws, you cannot have a cast iron electoral process. There will always be discrepancies here and there. But what the law says is that except those discrepancies are substantial, it will not nullify that election. Because the effect of those discrepancies, if they are discovered, is that the votes cast for the candidates, all those people there, will be nullified. And if the votes cast in a disputed area has been nullified, and the person that was declared still retains majority, he retains his position. And you know, Court of Appeal is to review the judgment of the trial court. They don't listen to witnesses. They will work on the printed record, and they will see the evidence for themselves and what the trial tribunal concluded.
In the same vein, there is no place worldwide where electoral process is crisis-free, but what Nigeria witnesses is not too bad, and at the same time, the biomodal voter accreditation system BVAS used added glamour to the system. A social critic, Community Fatai Tijani, who said this shortly after partaking in an OSBC TV current affairs program. Let's discuss praise President Muhammadu Buhari for introducing the electoral technology. According to Community Tijani, the gesture would be improved upon so that each voter can perform the civic duty on personal handset to address political imbroglio coupled with stress on the exercise and reduce the cost of elections.
The election came with a lot of expectations by Nigerians. And the campaigns were structured, and that had a way of carrying people along. And I must say that we have not gotten there, but we definitely have improved from where we were before now. And the only area where I think we need to work on is voter education, how to talk to people about not, fighting people in order for one to win elections, etc. But apart from that, the beavers, to a larger extent, is a big plus to our electioneering processes in this country.
Still on election-related matters, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has said it will start issuing certificates of return to governors-elect, deputy governor-elect, and State House of Assembly members as from Wednesday to Friday this week. INEC National Commissioner and Chairman Voter Education Committee, Festus Okoye, disclosed this in a statement today. According to Mr. Okoye, the Commission has deliberated in a wide range of issues, including the issuance of certificates of return to winners of the governorship and State House of Assembly members. It added that in line with the provisions of Section 72, subsection 1 of the Electoral Act 2022, the Commission is mandated to issue certificates of return within 14 days to every candidate who has been returned elected under the law. A civil rights advocacy group, Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, has urged the candidates who lost the March 18 governorship election in Enugu State to stop legal and verbal wars and support the governor-elect, Peter Mbah, who was duly elected and declared winner by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Meanwhile, in a statement by its national coordinator, Comrade Emmanuel Nwobiko, in the same vein, urged former Governor Adigboyega Oyetola to shift his legal swords and embrace Senator Ademola Adeleke as the duly elected governor in Osun State as ruled by the Appeal Court in Abuja. In the last Saturday's poll, Peter Mbah of the People's Democratic Party polled 160,195 votes, slightly above his closest rival, Chijioke, of the Labour Party, who scored 157,962 votes, which Enaji of the All Progressive Congress, who came third. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has expressed the belief that the prosecution of perpetrators of electoral violence and other sponsors will curb the prevalence of violence in the future elections in Nigeria. INEC stated it through the Chief Press Secretary to the INEC Chairman, Mr. Rotimi Oyekomi. At the hearing organized by the House of Representatives Committee on Electoral Matters, noting that if the Electoral Offences Commission is established, electoral offenders and their sponsors would reconsider their actions. The electoral umpire also stressed the need for legislative backing for the establishment of Electoral Offences Commission and Tribunal to look into such infractions. The INEC Chairman, Professor Mahmoud Jakubo, recently canvassed for an act to establish the National Electoral Offences Commission that will work on the country's electoral process, adding that electoral reforms would remain incomplete if electoral offenders continue to work freely. Professor Yakubu, who acknowledged the additional powers given to the Commission in the new Electoral Act 2022, argued that only when electoral offenders are tried while the mastermind had not been properly dealt with, that is when the process will be okay. President Muhammadu Buhari has dismissed rumors that he did not see himself handing over to the president-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu as fake news. An online news medium had claimed in a recent publication that President Buhari confided in his purported close associates that he did not see himself handing over to Tinubu. But in a swift reaction, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, in a statement said the presidency queried the logic of the alleged fake news, wondering how President Buhari could campaign for Tinubu and his running mate, Senator Kashim Shettima, and declined to hand over after they had secured victory. Shehu pointed out that the Buhari administration has already kicked off the process of transition with committees in place which are already carrying out duties focused on a handover process. The governor of Osun State, Senator Ademola Adeleke, has directed immediate establishment of a support desk for Russian tech innovators and entrepreneurs to access the recently launched USD Tech Fund by the African Development Bank. According to the spokesperson, Malam Olawale Rashid, in a response to the Tech Fund, which was a collaboration between the AFGB and the federal government of Nigeria, Governor Adeleke expressed readiness of his government to tap into the opportunities and furtherance of the digital economy agenda of his administration. Governor Adeleke, who was full of praises for the AFGB president, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, said his administration has created an enabling environment for Russian tech ecosystem, citing the recently unfolded state ICT policy, State Tech Innovation Policy, Domestication of Nigerian Start-up Act, the flag off of the state's broadband fiber optic project, and the establishment of a digital advisory board, adding that his state is in a hurry to be a tech hub for the Southwest. According to the governor, Dr. Adesina has consistently demonstrated his commitment to supporting the growth and development of African economies, and his efforts towards the development of the technology and creative sector in Nigeria are commendable. While pledging to unfold the second phase of the state digital economy agenda in due course, Governor Adeleke called on Osun elites to join his administration in the drive to harness the potential of the technology and creative sector and create a vibrant and innovative ecosystem in the state. We now go on a commercial break. Dateline continues shortly.
Presents hopes, dreams, and challenges. Challenges that can become successes with a little help. Because a little help can empower you to go from despair to celebration. A little help can keep you going until the race is won. A little help can turn bundles of anxiety into a bundle of joy. And with Glow Data, you get much more than just a little help. You get the biggest data deals in town to make every day glow with small wins and big wins. Dial *777# to select your Glow Data plan.
You're welcome back. Ramadan period has been described as a training for Islamic faithful on the salient teachings of Prophet Muhammad by being benevolent to all mankind, irrespective of religion, social or economic background. An Islamic cleric, Malam Abdulrazak Abdulganil, stated this while featuring on OSBC TV current affairs program Saturday Morning Treat. According to the stars, Muslims should improve on alms giving during and after the holy month, which he said is enough to reduce poverty and insecurity in society.
It is emphatically recommended while fasting to feed others. For instance, it is rewarded according to the prophetic tradition that whoever feeds someone while breaking his or her fast will have the like of his or her reward for providing food for such a Muslim to break his or her fast. By virtue of that, we enjoy all Muslims based on your capability to feed other Muslims while they are breaking their fast to get more rewards from Allah, your Lord.
Welcome to our sports segments. As the Super Eagles play against Guinea-Bissau in the second leg tomorrow, Super Eagles coach Sir Pissarro has said his players are unhappy and upset after their shock defeat to Guinea-Bissau in the first leg of AFCON qualifier. The win took Guinea-Bissau to top in the group on 7 points, while the Super Eagles are second on 6 points. By reflecting on the defeat, he said the team played a good game and created many goal-scoring opportunities, but unfortunately lost the game. Pissarro and his team will play the reverse fixture with commitment and sacrifice. Meanwhile, Kevin Apogoma has been ruled out of Super Eagles' clash against the Tab of Bissau. The reverse fixture of the 2023 African Cup of Nations qualifier will hold at the Stadio de Sabintro, Bissau tomorrow. On the foreign scene, Tunisia's coast guards have recovered 10 bodies from a migrant boat which sank near the coast, the second vessel to sink within hours of Tunisia, bringing the death toll to 29. A National Guard official said the boat sank off the coast of Madna without giving further details. Earlier, a human rights group said at least 19 refugees and migrants from sub-Saharan Africa had drowned off the coast of Tunisia while trying to cross the Mediterranean and reach Italy. An official at the Forum for Social and Economic Rights, Ben Amo, told newsmen that death also occurred when a boat carrying a refugee and migrants sank off the coast after a journey that started from Fax beaches. He added that the Tunisia Coast Guard was able to rescue 5 people from the boat. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni said that Europe risks seeing a huge wave of refugees and migrants arriving on its shores from North Africa if financial stability in Tunisia is not safeguarded. We now go on a short break. Dateline continues. Proper. Residents of Osun State, especially the first family, their delicate dinners, were thrown into joyous mode when the Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja set aside the judgment of Justice Setse Kume-led Governorship Election Petition Tribunal and upheld the election of Senator Ademola Adeleke as the duly elected governor of Osun State. Governor's Office correspondent Abdurrahim Adekleko in this Dateline report has a recap of the engagement of the governor for the week.
Friday, 24th of March 2023 will for a long time remain remarkable in the history of Osun State, when the Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja nullified the ruling of the Osun State Governorship Election Petitions Tribunal that overturned the election of Governor Ademola Adeleke of the People's Democratic Party and declared Adegboyega Oyetola of the All Progressives Congress (APC) as the winner. The judgment of the appellate court was indeed the much anticipated good news for the Adeleke dynasty in Ede, the People's Democratic Party in Osun, residents of the state and civil servants who sang various songs of victory in celebrating the ruling. Governor, Senator Ademola Adeleke and his 2 wives could not hide their joy when the first family and the matriarch of the Adeleke dynasty, Yeyelu Adupe Adeleke Soni, dedicated a victory to God and the people of Osun State, who stood firmly with them.
For what he has done, because this has proven that when you don't depend on people and you depend on God, God did it. I'm so excited. And I'm so happy that it happened like this. My message to them is to keep hope alive, because we are not done yet. The dividend of democracy is here to stay in Osun. All the goodies that we have promised them, we have just started. They ain't say nothing yet.
I'm so happy. I'm overwhelmed for the verdict that they said today. I want to use this opportunity to thank the people of Osun and our well-wishers, the women of Osun, the youth of Osun. Thank you so much for standing by our husband, Senator Nuruddin Ademola Adeleke. We love you all. Thank you.
The people of Osun spoke from the day one with their votes, but people thought they can change. What God cannot do in this whole world does not exist. God will continue showing them that their delegates will serve the living God.
Osun people have spoken through their votes to elect PDP and to elect our executive governor, His Excellency Senator Ademola Jackson Nuruddin Adeleke. I want to thank God that the appeal court judges have spoken.
Also reacting, the Secretary to the State Government, Alhaji Teslim Igbalaye, Honorable Babatunde Gbadamosi, the personal assistant to Governor Adeleke on political matters, and Barrister Kamal Adeklekun, described the judgment of the higher court as a triumph of truth over falsehood.
I'm elated with what is going on now because the people of Osun have spoken. They say the voice of people is the voice of God. So people have expressed their feelings that they are with Governor Ademola Adeleke. And even the appeal court judges have affirmed it.
So God be the glory, the finest judgments you can see. I still have hope in our judges, our justices of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Everybody can see what happened. A very fine, and you can see how people are jubilating in Osun State.
Judgment of the appeal court is a renewal of hope in our judiciary in Nigeria. You can see that the judgment unanimously have shown the reflection of the mandate and the wish of the people of Osun State. And by doing this, we return the glory to Almighty God.
As the state continued to celebrate the win at the appeal court, Senator Adeleke stunned the Muslim and non-Muslim residents of Osun State when he showcased his musical prowess by playing banduri after joining the Jama'ah in his country home to observe the Tarawih prayer. Earlier in the week, Governor Ademola Adeleke had distributed working aids to persons with disabilities. Senator Adeleke used the occasion to thank the people for voting massively for the People's Democratic Party (PDP) and condemned the bloodletting that followed the poll.
Permit me to first of all thank Osun people for the successful conduct of the last polls. I really appreciate you all. Ẹ ṣé gan ni ẹ kú ìtọ́jú. When we celebrate the successes of the poll, we equally sympathize with the victims of political violence across the state. We are saddened by deliberate acts of thuggery in some part of the state. I will repeat here that election is not a war, but choice making. I call on all Osun people to get back to work and focus on the urgent task of building a better Osun State.
Senator Adeleke, while handing out wheelchairs, guiding canes, midgets, magnifying glasses, umbrellas, and other aids for the hearing impaired, visually impaired, persons with albinism and those with physical disabilities as well as spinal cord injuries, said no growth can be complete if a section of the society is neglected and abandoned. He said his administration is committed to supporting people with disabilities, saying that the state government will comply with all local and international best practices in the treatment of persons with disabilities. For Dateline.
Many thanks to you, Abdurrahim Adekleko, and we say congratulations to Governor Ademola Adeleke. The 2023 general elections finally came to a wrap with the conclusion of the governorship and State House of Assembly elections. Winners have emerged, and those that are aggrieved are seeking redress in court or planning to do so. Nigerians are, however, expecting nothing less than good governance from those they have elected. In this Dateline report, our reporter examines the expectations of the people from the political leaders. Democratic governance is gradually taking a leap in Nigeria as the people now have the ability to elect leaders of their choice to occupy various political positions. This was evidenced in the recently concluded general elections, which started on the 25th of February 2023 with the presidential and National Assembly elections and was concluded on the 18th of March with the governorship and State House of Assembly elections. The election organized by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) was keenly contested by candidates from 18 registered political parties in Nigeria. The elections have come and gone. Winners have emerged, and those who are not satisfied. The elections have come and gone. Winners have emerged, and those who are not satisfied with the outcome have either taken steps or planning to seek redress at the Election Petition Tribunal. Nigerians have, however, maintained that it is not enough to win election and occupy political offices for the next 4 years simply for the fun of it. But the newly elected leaders must do all within their power and the Constitution to ensure good governance. A legal practitioner, Mr. Olufemi Anyodoku, stated that the task before the new leaders are enormous and that Nigerians deserve to enjoy the dividends of democracy and feel safe in any part of the country. Mr. Anyodoku is of the opinion that the state governors should have no excuse whatsoever not to perform, especially in the area of electricity generations, since states now have the constitutional power to generate electricity.
There's no excuse again for anyone to say, oh, I would have worked on power generation in my state and distribution, but for the fact that it's only the FG, the federal government, under the constitution that could have done that. Now, even state governments can do that. So I expect these state governors to hit the ground running and bring about a positive going forward improvement in power, electricity supply and distribution in Nigeria. Secondly, I expect governors to also work on critical ICT infrastructure. The world since has changed. It is now so important to enable the citizenry within each state to be able to get the best from the internet. It is not just a means of entertainment, it is also a means of education to use the internet, okay? You know, it's a means of information, it's a means of doing business to enhance the economy of every given state. In that respect, I would love to commend the sitting governor in Osun State, who has made efforts to ensure that 5G broadband internet is activated in Osun State.
Speaking in the same vein, other stakeholders, including Mr. Wahid Lawal and Dr. Soji Akinpelu, maintained that gone are the days when governors would wait till 2 years after the expiration of their tenure before churning out white elephant projects in order to deceive the people. The duo emphasized that any governor that fails to work immediately after resumption of office will be booted out after 4 years, adding that voters are now wiser.
Nigerians want a free, fair and credible election. What we have now is a fair, not free and not credible election. But by and large, we have conducted the election. We have moved from that stage to the next stage. Nigerian electorate expect good governance from their elected representative, either the governor, the president-elect, the senator-elect, the House of Rep-elect, and the State House of Assembly member-elect. Nigerians expect good governance. It is their duty to provide good governance for our people. The law provides for adequate security for the life and property of our citizens and the welfare of the people. These two cogent things must be provided by our elected representatives.
For somebody to win this election, I think is capable. If it's not capable with this process of voting now with Beaver, you cannot just rig any election. The elections are not rigged, and they have won the election. by winning, by having the majority of people behind them, definitely, I have the belief that they are going to perform. And these days, people believe that if you do not perform, it's just 4 years, you are still coming back to them to ask for their votes for second term. And nobody will give you the votes.
Reports say the president-elect, Senator Bola Tinubu, will be sworn in on May 29, while the 10th National Assembly will be inaugurated on the 13th of June, 2 days after the expiration of the 9th Assembly, all things being equal. Oluchi. Broadcasters in the media industry have been described as one of the key players in development and progress of any nation. Therefore, the need for them to always be professional in their respective fields so as to ensure positive growth of the media industry. This forms the crux of messages at the workshop organized by the Society of Nigerian Broadcasters in Osogbo, Osun State capital. Our Dateline reporter Oluwatobiloba Odunuga brings the report.
Bid to strengthen the quality of the nation's media ecosystem, a body to regulate the practice of broadcasting as a profession in Nigeria, known as the Society of Nigerian Broadcasters, SNB, was inaugurated. The organization is to, among other things, coordinate, set standard, admit and issue certificates of practice to all professional broadcasters in the country. SNB is open to establish and aspiring broadcasters in 4 categories, which includes the full membership, associate membership, student membership, and the fellowship of SNB, with set requirements for admission to make the mission and objective of the Society of Nigerian Broadcasters realizable. The body moved the train of its workshop from Lagos to Osogbo, the Osun State capital, where broadcasters from Ogun, Oyo, Ekiti, and Osun State all converge on Osogbo to draw from the confluence of wisdom of experienced professionals in the media industry, with the theme Broadcast Ethics in the 2023 General Elections, a review. In their separate remarks, former Nigerian ambassador to Philippines, Dr. Yemi Farumbi, and consultant to Osun State Governor on OSBC, Dr. Femi Adefila, maintained that it is expected that broadcasters will at every point in time ameliorate their audience with content which would inform, educate, and entertain them as a way of complementing their daily lives. They added that if the vision and objectives of the Society of Nigerian Broadcasters is realized, it will help in deepening the desirable quality of democracy in Nigeria, enjoining broadcasters to be more professional in the areas of content, operations, and productions.
There's no profession that can exist without a theoretical foundation. There must be something you believe in. There must be something that broadcasting believes in. There must be objectives and goals of broadcasting. They all look general, but they vary from society to society. Take, for example, the concept of to inform, to educate, and to entertain. In some countries, it's to educate, to inform, and to entertain. In some other countries, it's to inform, to entertain, and to educate. See, it's a function of the societal need. We talk about broadcasting for national development. It's a theoretical foundation. So if you don't have, you'll have lost it. So that was what I was saying. And in terms of authority, SNB deals with individuals. The National Broadcasting Commission deals with organizations. So SNB is like NBA. They can deal with any member of it and can say, no, that's all right. We can sanction you. The authority to sanction is what I refer to as professional authority. We introduced the concept of mentorship. Those who know will teach those who do not know. And those who are recently known will teach those who are yet to know. Then you will find that before we know it, we'll all become acculturated. We'll become subscribers to these ethical standards. And it will make broadcasting in Nigeria completely different and unique.
Either you are functioning within a private space or a public space as far as broadcasting is concerned, ethics, professionalism are the essential ingredients. Somebody said that a man without ethics is like a wild beast unleashed on the society. So ethics is the restraint, the code of conduct that will guide what you do and how you do your job. And I'm happy that this is one thing that this association wants to achieve.
In his first presentation on the paper, Essence of Professionalism in Broadcasting, former Director General National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, Engineer Yomi Bolaniwa said professionalism in a particular field means setting standards, noting that every broadcaster in Nigeria is expected to partake in sharing of ideas and experiences that will enrich the lives of the citizenry, which will help them live a complex, dynamic, and human society.
Comparison is often odorous. In my days, you didn't have several types of camera, you didn't have the cell phone, you don't have several other things. And I think the challenges faced today by broadcasters are much more than the challenges faced by my peer group in our own time. My advice is that you must be professional. As long as you are professional and you insist in doing the right thing, then you will get. Then a broadcaster must stop going after each other's job, and that, to a large extent, will encourage people who are in position to do the right thing.
While delivering the second paper on the topic Review of Broadcast Ethics in the 2023 general elections in Nigeria, Professor Jen about the behavior of an individual in a particular field of endeavor, noting that professional ethics confers responsibility for observers and enforcement.
When we talk about professional ethics, what are we looking at? We're talking about principles and corporate standards that govern the behavior of an individual or group in a particular field of endeavor. So here, that's where you can place broadcast ethics as a subset of professional ethics. It confers responsibility for observance and enforcement of standards. So you must have the responsibility to observe standards is there, and then there must be enforcement. That is, if you breach the rule, the punishment is specified. Okay, it aims at a high level of scientifically grounded expertise and service hygiene. That is, your expertise must be scientifically grounded. How many broadcasters in Nigeria today have their expertise grounded in scientific training?
The Society of Nigerian Broadcasters Workshop, which saw the attendance of the Director General of OSBC, Mr. Rashid Folaranmi, including the Directors, News and Current Affairs OSBC, Mrs. Abimbola Babatunde and Mr. Akinola Olabi, Director of Sports OSBC, Mr. Muhyiddin Adeleke, and the Coordinating Director, Osun State Ministry of Information and Civic Orientation, Mrs. Bukola Aderibigbe, among others, featured group discussion and interactive session between broadcasters and guest speakers on the areas of concentration in moving the Society of Nigerian Broadcasters forward as a body which would continue to uphold and promote integrity among broadcasters in Nigeria. Oluwa Tobiloba, Odunuga, for Dateline.
Thanks so much, Oluwa Tobiloba, Odunuga. And that ends Dateline Report on OSBC TV. Thank you for watching. It was produced by Babatunde Bolatito. The production assistant is Abdul Adebisi. Executive producer is Abiodun Olalere, while Akinola Olabi is the editorial advisor. My name is Oluchi Amuda, saying good night.
Bring una another nyafu reward this Easter and Ramadan season. Oh, this one na extra jara, and now why we call them Season of Goodness promo. We get thousands of juicy content where you fit choose from. You and your family go fit enjoy ogbonge series on ST Novella like Three Sisters, Kiddies channel like Cartoon and Jim Jam, plenty Nollywood channels, and many religion channels. To enjoy this offer, recharge for 2 months on Nova, Basic, or Smart Bouquet, and you get an instant boost to the next higher bouquet. bouquet. Recharge 2 months on top your classic or super and you go enjoy 10 days extra. This promo now from March 20, go reach April 30. No door yourself, oh. Hurry, make yourself collect your own days of goodness. Terms and conditions apply. Star Times, entertain your family.